I'm here today to demo the game Frostgrave for you. If you're unfamiliar with Frostgrave, it's an awesome fantasy miniature skirmish game written by Joseph McCullough, published by Osprey Games. The whole game is about taking a wizard, an apprentice, and a band of treasure hunters and thugs and barbarians and knights and thieves out into a frozen city where magical treasure is being revealed. And your goal is to get as much treasure off the table as possible before your opponent does. The thing that makes this game, I think, different from other miniature games, number one is you can use any minis that you want from any line, and it's completely up to you to how you create your warband thematically. Number two, the whole thing is based off a single D20. And lastly, it's not about wiping out your opponent, although combat does get pretty crazy, but it's really about getting treasure or about whatever scenarios you're playing. The game really excels in the campaign format, and also all the scenarios add a lot of flavor and a lot of different objectives, a lot of different creatures, so it's super exciting. Today we're going to run a solo game that's based off of one of the expansion books called Perilous Dark. Frostgrave takes place on a 3x3 table, packed with terrain, and so let's jump in. So here's the scenario that we're playing today. It's called Writhing Fumes. We're here in the city of Felstad, which is a very old magical city. 1,000 years ago, a magical cataclysm froze the city, and it's beginning to thaw, and new treasure is being revealed. For our scenario today, Writhing Fumes, one of the soldiers that my wizard has recently hired tells me about a previous trip she made into the frozen city. Her band was returning from a bloody yet successful expedition when they passed by a large, broken doorway. The wizard she was with said it was the doorway to a famous weapon shop. They were about to explore when a pair of large constructs attacked. Not wanting to risk the gains they had already made, they decided to run for it and come back later. Of course, a short time afterwards, a snow troll killed that wizard and the band dissolved, and one thing led to another. The soldier is sure that she could lead you back to that weapon shop. She remembers it clearly because it is just on the other side of a large alchemical refinery. Cool. So that's the background. That's where we're at. So this is on this little smaller table. It's not a 3x3. My warband is set up over here in this corner. On the opposite corner, I've made this little building here with the doorway, a special doorway for the weapons shop. I've put 5 spawn points on the table here, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are these little beads here. In this scenario, it calls for some particular creatures that I don't have, so I'm using creatures that I do have models for, which in this case are gnolls. So I've put a bunch of gnolls here next to each spawn point. I've also placed a giant worm over there as kind of a bigger creature. So this scenario calls for some uncontrolled creatures to be on the table to kind of mess up my goal, which is to probably get over to this door over here. We also have some treasure here on the table. A normal game of Frostgrave would have 6 pieces of treasure for us to battle over. This is a solo game, and we have a different objective, so we have a little less treasure on the table. We only have 2. So here are the special rules for this. The exit door, the door to this is jammed. In order to open it, one of my figures has to be next to the door and make a special roll with a target number of 14. You get bonuses if you have friends with you. If the roll succeeds, then the door is finally open and everybody can go through it and get out, probably one at a time on their turn. If it fails, the door is still jammed, but you can try and open it as many times as possible. So the whole goal pretty much is to kind of make it through here and get to the door and get into the weapons shop without losing some people and maybe get some treasure along the way. At the end of every turn, I'm going to roll a d20 and a new creature is going to pop up from one of these random spawn points here. We don't know what it's going to be. I have a special table I'm going to roll on in the book, but that's what's going to happen. Let me introduce you to my warband. Unfortunately, at this point, my camera audio cut out for the next few minutes, so I'm just going to talk through what's happening here. Here's my wizard. He is an elementalist wizard. There's all sorts of schools of magic. We have necromancer, summoner, sigilist, and they all have different strengths. And some are more combat oriented, some are more about healing. But overall, however you like to play, you can find a wizard for that play style. Here's what the stat line looks like. You have a movement stat, fight stat, shoot stat, armor, will, and health. Movements in inches, and your fight and will stats are added to any d20 rolls that you do. Here are the spells for the wizard and their casting value. What you need to roll is all in red there. You can have spells from other schools of magic. They're just a little bit harder to cast. This is my apprentice. The apprentice has very similar stats to the wizard, and she knows all the spells the wizard knows, but they're a little harder for her to cast. All of her spell casting rolls are at a -2. Here's the soldier sheet. I have an archer, crossbowman, thugs, thieves, and knights. They're all soldier classes that you can have in the game. Every turn of Frostgrave has 4 phases. The wizard phase, the apprentice phase, the soldier phase, and the creature phase. Normally, when you're playing 2 players, you would alternate back and forth in these phases. But since we're just playing solo, we're going to go right through them, and we're going to add a 5th special phase, the large creature phase, just so to make it more exciting here. So we're going to have the wizards phase, the large creature phase, the apprentice phase, the soldier phase, and then the regular creature phase. So let's begin. We're going to start with the wizard phase, and the wizard can activate alone, but if the wizard has soldiers around him within 3 inches, he can activate up to 3 of his soldiers with him, and they can do their complete turn. Every time a soldier or figure activates, they get 2 actions. One of those actions has to be a move, but the other one can be anything they want, like shoot or fight or cast a spell or pick up treasure. So I'm going to activate my wizard with these 3 soldiers around him, the archer, the thief, and the thug. Looking down the table here, I see a knoll within line of sight. All ranged combat is line of sight. So I have that knoll there, and I'm going to shoot at that knoll with my archer. So I roll a single d20, and a first roll of the game, I crit it. And there are crits in Frostgrave. Basically, they do double damage. So my archer adds their shoot stat, which is a +2, so 22. Now the knoll has to roll their fight stat and beat a 22 in order to survive. And the knoll rolls a 17 plus their fight stat of 3, but does not beat the 22, so loses the combat. So I take that 22 and I subtract the knoll's armor from that 22. The knoll has an armor of 12, so we get a total of 10 damage. But since it's a crit, we double that damage for 20. The knoll's health is 12. 20 exceeds the 12, and we kill that knoll right off the bat. Excellent first turn. For my archer's second action, I move her up 6 inches, her full movement value. Now my wizard takes a look down the table, and he sees a knoll through the trees there that he can cast a spell at. So my wizard's going to cast Elemental Bolt. It's like a magical shooting attack at that knoll, and to cast it, I have to roll a 12. Here's my casting roll, and I succeed on a 12. So the spell is successfully cast, and now I can do a +8 shooting attack against that knoll. I roll a 10 plus 8 for a total of 18. Now the knoll has to roll their fight stat to defend against this shooting attack. They roll a 1 plus their fight stat of 2 for a total of 3, plus the intervening tree for a total of 4. So they do not succeed. So 18 minus the knoll's armor, which is 12, means 6 damage goes through. My wizard will take his second action and move 6 inches up to the side of that rock and try and get a better position. Finishing out my wizard phase, I'm going to activate the other soldiers that activated with him. The thief is going to do 2 moves. The second time a figure moves, their move value is cut in half. So from 7 to 3.5, this thug moves 6, and then another 3 up in front of the wizard. Now
It is the large creature phase, but there's nobody around that worm, so he's not doing anything. My apprentice will group activate with these two thugs and this crossbowman. Crossbowman's going to move up the slope and get a perch above and see who he can shoot. But nobody is in line of sight, so he's just going to chill there. Next, my wizard is going to step out and see if she can shoot an elemental bolt at that knoll that we shot earlier. Now, in order to cast elemental bolt, even though it's a 12, she has to roll 14 because her spell rolls are at a -2. We roll an 11, but fortunately, there's a mechanic where I can empower that spell by subtracting from my health, kind of like a blood cut there. So I cut for 3 health and the spell goes off. 18 plus 8 for a total of 26. That knoll has to roll their fight stat to beat. 3 plus 3 is 6. They do not. 26 minus an armor of 12 is not enough, and that knoll dies. The rest of the thugs that activated with the apprentice step forward and do their double move of 6 and 3 to get out ahead. Now I'm going to activate my other thief. She has a move of 7, so she's going to run around the side here and see if she can make a play for that treasure. She's not going to get too far ahead of the knight, who is a little slower with a move of 5, and then a second move half that of 2.5. All of my soldiers have activated. It's time to activate the creatures. We check to see if there are any of my soldiers within a 10-inch radius of a creature. That's kind of their awareness. If there is, that creature is going to move towards the soldier. So that knoll at arms does a double move towards my thief. Now we check this knoll over here, who is within 10 inches of my other thief. So that knoll is going to do a double move and almost gets into base contact. Now this knoll doesn't have anybody around him, so he's going to do a random move with a scatter die. At the end of the turn, we have to spawn a new knoll from one of the spawn points. So I roll on the knoll table, and I roll an 8. And we roll a Knight Treasure Hunter and Thug. I roll a die to randomize which spawn point, and it's that one there. And here we go. 2 more knolls pop out. With that, we start a new turn at the top of the wizard phase. He's going to group activate with the 3 thugs that are around him. First thug takes his first move forward for 6 inches and takes a look around to see. There's a treasure to his right, which I think I can make a play for, so I do 3 more inches in that direction. The next thug moves 6 inches forward to kind of set up a block from any knolls that might be coming from the left over there. So he's going to do 3 inches to the left and hopefully kind of run interference. That last thug is going to do 6 inches straight up the middle and maybe take on that giant worm, at least try and protect the wizard. There's also another spawn point there that some knolls might come out of, so maybe hopefully that thug can protect the wizard from any knolls coming out. I'm going to move the wizard up, and I think I can cast telekinesis on that treasure and make it easier for my thug to get it. Telekinesis is a 10 for me to cast. At this point, my camera audio jumped back in for the rest of the video.
All right, I rolled a 16. Let's mark it down. Successfully cast. Now, with telekinesis, I can move that piece of treasure, or anything really, but that piece of treasure 6 inches in any direction, and 6 inches actually can take me right into base contact with this thug right here. Holy crap. The thug is within 10 inches of that worm. All right, so the worm can move 7 inches. So let's see. Gets them almost there. Almost, not quite. So the worm's going to do 2 moves, burrowing through the ground to this unfortunate thug who's probably about to get eaten. So that's the end of the big creature phase. Pretty cool. Now we go to the apprentice phase. Now the apprentice is chilling back over here.
And the apprentice would very much like to help out that thug who is being attacked by that giant worm. But they're in combat now, so that's a little tricky. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cast a wall spell. All right, so we're going to cast a wall spell. We're first going to move first to do it. So I'm going to move up 6 inches. I'm actually going to climb right on top of that thing right there, of that little bit of grass. There we go. So we're 6 inches up there, and I'm going to cast a wall spell. A wall puts a 6-inch wide, 3-inch wall within 6 inches of me. That's pretty cool, right? All right, so in order to cast wall, it's normally a 10, but for the apprentice, it's got to be a 12 because they're going to get a -2. So here's my D20. We're going to roll, and I rolled a 5, and that's no good. So because I actually failed it by now I'm actually going to take a damage. If I fail a spell by 6 or more, I actually take a damage to my health. You know, there's a cost to failing these spells sometimes. So I take another damage. I'm down to 6 health. All right. That's the end of my apprentice phase. So next up, we're going to have the soldiers phase. And there's a lot of soldiers out here that haven't gone yet. So let's start with the obvious. We have a crossbowman here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to try and shoot that thug, or there's a man-at-arms rather, with our crossbow. Cool thing about crossbows are that they do an extra +2 damage if they hit, but you do have to reload your crossbow every turn if you want to shoot it again. So let's shoot. Crossbowman's going to roll for the die. Rolls a 16. I add my shoot stat under the crossbowman. I add my shoot stat, S, which is a +2. That's pretty awesome. So I have an 18. Now the thug, the gnoll over here is going to roll their D20, they rolled a 9. Their fight is 3, so they're going to have a 12 against my 18. They lose the combat. So my 18 minus their armor of 12 is 6. So they take 6 damage, and then they're down to 6 health. So I put a little 6 there, so we know they're down to 6 health. My crossbowman is going to reload to be ready for whatever else is going to happen. Our treasure hunter is going to move up into base contact with the gnoll, and then treasure hunter moves 7, so they've got plenty of move to get around and come on this side of the gnoll over here. Now I'm actually not going to attack. I can choose not to attack, but we're in base contact now, so we're kind of locked in combat. Now I'm going to move my knight. My knight is my heavy hitter. My knight has a move of 5, so we can get up there right into base contact, and now I'm going to attack with my knight. My knight has a fight stat of +4. I'm also going to get a +2 bonus because I got my friend, the thief over there, who's going to be helping me out. So, I rolled a 4, which gives me a +6, so I have a 10 total. Not very good roll for that knight. So here, we're going to have the gnoll roll now. Oh my gosh, they rolled a 17. +3 is 20, so I lose the combat. They're 20. Minus my armor of 13. Now, anytime you win a hand-to-hand combat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anytime you win a hand-to-hand combat, you have the choice of whether you want to stay in combat or push the character back. Now, I think if the gnoll really wanted to win this combat, they would push my character back an inch because they probably just want to fight one-on-one. So we're going to do what's best for the gnoll, keep it more interesting. Moving on, we have this little team up over here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to shoot this gnoll right here. Now, I can shoot through my guys because I'm just like, hey, get down. But you can't shoot through enemies because they wouldn't necessarily get down. So my archer, who doesn't have to reload between shots because they're an archer, they're just like pull the arrow from the quiver and shoot. They're going to shoot at that gnoll. Here's my roll. Terrible. It's a 3 plus my shoot stat, which is a 2, so it's a 5. We'll roll for the gnoll, who rolls a 4 plus their 3 is a 7. They're completely fine. And as my second action for that, I'm actually going to go up and go 6 inches into base contact with that gnoll because I think we're going to fight it. So he goes up and now he's going to fight. He's only got a +1 fight. So we're going to roll. He rolls a 14, plus his fight stat, which is 1, plus the help from the archer, so he gets another +2 for a total of +3. So he's rolled a 17 total. Now the Gnoll's going to roll. Haha, a 1. We should have some rules for critical failures. 1 plus their fight of 3 is a 4. So they lose the fight. 17 minus the Gnoll's armor of 12 gives us a total of 5. They take 5 damage. Let me grab a die. Left. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I don't think I have any soldiers left to activate who haven't activated already. So let's get down to the creatures. All right, let's continue with our combat over here, since now this Gnoll will activate. This Gnoll is we're going to randomize who he's going to attack here because we can't really choose. So the thief will be odd and even for the archer. And it's an even, so he's going to attack the archer. Here's the Gnoll's roll. A 4 plus their fight of 3 is 7. The archer rolls. A 7 plus their fight of 3 is 10. So the Gnoll loses. And 10, the armor is 12. So it doesn't exceed the armor. All right, so that's the end of that turn. Let's go over, we'll leave the worm for last here because it's kind of exciting. Let's go over here. Another thief on Gnoll combat. So the Gnoll's going to attack the thief. We roll, wow, bad rolls for the Gnoll. We rolled a 2, plus 3 is, their fight stat 3 is 5. The thief rolls. Where's that roll? 7 plus 1 is 8. So the 8 wins, my thief wins. Does not exceed the Gnoll's armor of 12. So no damage, but she'll push him back, but you know what? He goes right back into, because he's got his second move, his second action. So he just stays there. All right, so now we have this Templar and Thug Gnoll over here. Now let's see who's closest. Is it this Thug here? That's 6 inches away. Or is it this Treasure Hunter here? She's over 6 inches away. So this Thug over here is closest. So let's move our first 6 inches, which gets us into base contact here. And then he's going to fight. So Thug on Thug fight right now. Here's the Gnoll's roll. The Gnoll rolled an 11. The Thug's fight stat is 2. So we're going to add 2 to that for 13. Here's my Thug. 17, 18, 19. Very good. I win the combat. 19 minus the armor, 12. No, 10 for the Thug. Sorry. I know because I have some Thugs over here. And they have armor 11. No, 10. Armor 10. So 19 minus 10 is 9. That Thug has 1 health left. And I'm going to push that Thug back an inch because I won the combat. Good for me. All right. So now we have a Templar over here who's like a knight. They move a bit slower, and it looks like my thief is closest. So we're going to move, it looks like it's over 5 inches. So we'll move 5 inches here, and then we'll do the second move to go into base contact. Listen, it's not looking good for that thief over there. There's a Templar and a Man-at-Arms kind of bearing down, so that's no good. So now that all the Gnolls have activated, that's the end of this this turn right now. Since it's the end of the turn, we're going to have to roll to see if who comes out in our next creature portal here. So let's get the Gnoll table. All right, here's the roll. It's a 1. And a 1 on the Gnoll table is another Gnoll Thug. Well, that's easy, thank goodness. And let's roll this D10 to see where they come out. We rolled a 10, which is over here. Bump. There's our new Gnoll Thug, ready to do some damage. Next turn, turn 3, Wizard phase. Here we go. So now the question is, here's my Wizard. He can activate with this Thug over here. He's close enough. All right, if I can Elemental Bolt this guy and kill him, then this Thug can maybe go over and help out with the worm. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'd like to get all 3 of my Thugs that are up here on that worm over there so that we can kill that worm and get it out of the way. So let's try and cast Elemental Bolt. To cast Elemental Bolt, we need a 12. So here we go. Here's our roll. Let's big roll. We rolled a 3. And that's no good. I failed by 9. I'm going to take a damage for failing by 9.
Wow, that's totally weak. I think what I'm gonna do is move just up here a little bit, just to kind of get out of the way, just a touch. Now I'm gonna move this thug 6 inches around, and I think with 2 moves, which is 6 inches plus another 3, I can get into base contact with that worm by going this way. So that's what we're gonna do. Because honestly, that's way scarier than this guy here. So, and that helps me because now I have that bonus of, having my teammates there. All right, cool. So that's the end of my wizard phase. Now we have special big creature phase where we're gonna have the worm activate. Now he's got 2 people to choose from to attack. So let's randomize it here. Odd, even. Odd on the left. We're gonna roll, I got a D10 here. We'll roll the D10. That's even, so he's gonna attack this new guy that comes. He's at a +4, worm combat. 10 plus 4 is 14. Now my thug's gonna roll. He rolled an 11. He's also +4 because he's got +4 for his fight, +2 for his fight, +2 for his buddy there. So guess what? He beats the 14 with a 15. So I win the combat, and the giant worm's armor is only 10, which is amazing. So 15 minus 10 is 5, which means that the giant worm is down to 15 health. Awesome. So we'll put this D20 here with a 15. I'm going to stay in combat because I really don't want to messing with my wizard over there. So we're just going to stay right there. Apprentice phase. All right. So here's my apprentice, and let's see if we can activate. We're within 3 inches of the crossbowman. So first we're going to activate. Group activating here, these two, because they can activate together. They're close enough. My crossbowman's going to try and seal the deal over here on that knoll that's 1 health knoll. So we're going to do a shot with the crossbowman. We rolled a 16, plus their shoot stat, which is 2, for an 18. Here's the thug's roll, the knoll's roll. They rolled a 1, keeping up with those great knoll rolls, so they lose. Now, that's the cool thing about crossbows. They're a little more powerful. It was an 18, but now I get a +2. So now it's a 20. Not that I needed it. Armor 10, 20 minus 10, 10. They're dead. Say goodbye to that knoll. All right, so now that we took care of that knoll, I want to heal myself. I feel like I have 6 health. I do have a heal spell on a 12. That's a 14. It's a lot to go off, really, actually. So you know what? Maybe we'll cast that wall. Let's try and get the wall because that's a little less risky. A wall's on a 10. We're going to do a 12. I'm going to try and do it over here because I kind of want to block things off over there. So we're going to roll our D20, see if we can cast wall. 15, it's successful. Make a note, we're going to get some XP. And then within 6 inches, I can cast wall. And so 6 inches is within there. And I'm going to put my wall right there, like that. And that's the end of my wizard phase. Let's go on to soldier phase. First thing I want to do here is, well, let's dispatch. Let's see if we can dispatch this knoll here because I would very much like to have my archer take a shot at this thug that's chilling. So we're going to attack with our thief on this knoll right here. Oh, very low. 4 plus 3 is 7. It's 3 because the thief has a +1 plus a +2 from over here. So here's the knoll's roll. 12 plus 3 is 15. That definitely beats my 7. And the knoll has 15 against the thief's armor, which is 10. So I'm going to take 5 damage. Ew. So now the archer is going to attack. See if we can get a better roll. Wow, 7 plus 2 for the archer, plus 2 for the help is 11. Let's have the knoll roll again. Oh my gosh, 17 plus 3 is 20. 20, I lost. 20 minus the archer health is armor is 11, so 20 minus 11 is 9. I take 9 damage. I'm down to 1 health. That was not a good matchup at all. All right, here's what we're going to do here. We're going to pick up the treasure. Literally, all you have to do to pick up treasure is be in base contact and spend an action and say, I'm picking up treasure. Now I'm carrying that treasure. Normally, my move would be shortened by half. But in a solo scenario like this, we do not make our move we don't put a detriment on our move. We keep the move stat as it is, but our fight is a little less because we're carrying that treasure. So now I'm going to move up here. Second action, move up 6 inches into base contact with my treasure, with this worm, because this worm is super scary. So we're in base contact. I've taken the treasure with me. We'll just put it right there. And that's the end of that guy's turn. Okay, he activated with the wizard. He's there. Let's fight the worm with the thug right here in the middle. I mean, on the left right here. So we're going to fight. We got +2 for our fight. We got +2 for one friend, +2 for another. A total of +6. Here we go. Oh my gosh. 4 + 6 is 10. It's not going to do it. Worm roll. 9. 9 plus the worm's fight of 4 is 13. So that thug's armor is 10. 13 minus 10 is 3. Blue shield will be my first thug on the list. 1, 2, 3. All right, we got this knight. All right, this knight is going to go, we're going to even things up here. This knight is going to go into base contact right here. Now, I got 2, and then there's 2 bad guys. All of the bonuses are canceled. It's just like a straight up roll because it's 2 on 2. Everybody's canceled out. So the knight is a +4. Here we go, fighting. I think I need a new D20. 5 + 4 is 9. Here's the man-at-arms. The gnoll. I just got critted by a gnoll-at-arms. 23. Oh my gosh. Knight's armor is 13. 10. Double damage. 20. See you later, knight. Boom. Just toasted there. Should the thief fight? Let's see. Thief might get lucky, right? The thief will fight the man-at-arms because he really doesn't want to fight. She doesn't want to fight the Templars. And the man-at-arms is already injured. Here we go. My thief. Welcome to Frostgrave, people. Welcome to Frostgrave. So 3 plus the thief's fight of +1 is 4. All right. Here's the man-at-arms roll. 14 plus 3 is 17 plus 2 from the help of their friend over there. 19 total. And the thief's armor is 10. Takes 9 damage. Has 1 health left. That's the end of my soldiers. Wasn't a great round for me. Wasn't a great round. Let's move on to the creatures. Creature phase. Let's come over here and see who this creature is going to attack. We will kind of randomize here. So odd, even. Roll the d20. It's even. They're going to attack the thief over here, who has, 5 health left? Here we go. Here's the roll for the gnoll. It's a 6. Plus 3 is 9. Their fight stat is 3, is a 9 total. Here's the thief with help from the archer. 11 plus the thief's 1 is 12, plus the bonus from the archer is 14. 14 minus the armor of I win the combat, minus the armor of the gnoll is 12, takes 2 damage. 5 goes down to 3. All right, I would push the gnoll back, but then the gnoll would just come straight back into combat, so we're going to stay there. This gnoll over here is like, who do I see? 8 1/4 away. And my archer is 9, so we're going for the wizard. This is just a thug. So 6 inches, if it was 8 1/4, this actually will take me 6 inches. Oh my gosh, I just forgot about this guy back here. It's me into base contact with my very own wizard. Man, no good. All right, this guy, who I completely forgot about, doesn't see anybody because I got the building here. Let's do a scatter die. We'll take a random move this way. I still can't see anybody. So we'll do their second random move this way, 3 inches, and then does see somebody. Hello. Okay. Let's see who activates first. I'm going to randomize to see because I don't really know here. So blue will be odd. And we have even. So the Templar is going to attack. +4, plus the help, +2. So our total, 5 plus 6 is 11. All right. My lowly thief has to roll something better than an 11 here. It's a 9 plus 1 is a 10. I lose the combat. My thief's armor is 10. My thief had 1 health left. Say goodbye to the thief. 11 minus 10 is 1. Sees my apprentice, moves 6 towards my apprentice. Wow, I better cast another wall. Right? All right, now this guy, again, sees my apprentice, moves 6 and 1. Let's see, moves 6 and into base contact. Wow, not good for my apprentice. I really put him out there. Should have kept him protected. Hope I don't lose my spellcaster. All right, top of the turn, wizard phase. So we're at the wizard phase here, and we are in combat. We're gonna group activate here with these 2 thugs because we're close enough. So now my wizard has to fight this thug right here because we're in base contact. That thug came up, that little gnoll came up and wanted to fight. So here we go. My wizard's gonna roll their d20. 16 plus 2, their fight stat, the wizard's fight stat is plus 2. So 16 plus 2 is 18. Here's the gnoll's roll. All right, finally, 2 plus 2 is 4. The gnoll rolled a 4. I won the combat with a 16. So a 16 minus the gnoll's armor, which is 10. 16 minus 10, 6. The gnoll takes 6 damage. It's only a thug gnoll, so it has a health of 10. So it has 4 health left. I'm gonna push him back right there because I don't want to be in combat anymore with that gnoll. So for my second action, I'm actually gonna move out of there, away from that. I can actually squeeze by and see if I can maybe get out, but I don't want to be in base contact with the worm. So let's see if like 6 inches will get me past that worm over there. Yeah, 6 inches. 6 inches will get me pretty far out there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 6 inches. Oops. I'm going to go 6 inches, like all the way over here. Now we're going to fight this worm here and see if we can put a little damage in the worm. So this thug's going to fight first. They're at a +2 for their fight, and they got +4, +2 and +2 for the help from their friends. So here we go. 15 plus 2 is 17, plus another 4 is 21 total. 21, that's pretty good. Here's the worm's roll. 19 plus 4, 23. So the worm wins. 23 minus that thug's armor, which was 10, is 13. I was already down to 9 health. That thug is toast. Wow. We're going to try with this thug here. A little less help. 15 plus 2 for his fight, plus another 2 for his friend is 19 total. Here's the worm. 10 plus 4 is 14. Won't cut it. We win the combat. So 19 minus the armor is 10, so it takes 9 damage. So 15 down to 6. We're almost there. We're almost there. All right, I can't attack with this guy because remember, this was a group activation with my wizard who was here. So he was out of range. So we'll save him for the soldier phase. But apprentice phase, unfortunately, man, look, my apprentice is locked into this combat here. Not good. So first thing we're going to do is try and fight this, which is just a man-at-arms, Noel, who came up here. We'll again group activate with this crossbowman here, and we'll see what we'll do with that crossbowman in a second. So here we go. And we roll 15. No mod to that, just a straight 15. Here's the man, here's the Noel at arms. 16, no, plus 9. Oh boy, this looks like my armor is 10. I take 9 damage. I already has down to 6. That's it for my apprentice. My apprentice is out. I should have protected my apprentice better, but I did not do a good job. Let's deal with this crossbowman. He's going to shoot here, the 6. Straight up. Here we go. So rolling for the crossbowman. 19 plus 2 is 21. Here's the Noel's roll. 18 plus 2 is 20. Wow, just cut it. 21. Now, because it's a crossbow, we get an extra plus 2 damage. So 23 total minus the 12 armor is 11. So I only had 6 health. So thankfully, that Noel is toast. I'm going to reload. That's the end of my apprentice phase. Oh, I skipped them. Sorry, I skipped that phase. I'm trying to go too fast here. Let's back it up. Worm's going to activate, and we're going to randomize who we're going to attack here. Odd, even. even. So we're going with this thug over here. And here comes an attack from the worm on that thug. 13 plus 4 is 17. Here's the thug's roll. 19 plus the 2 for their fight stat is 21. Plus the 2 for help from the friend is 23. Beats the worm's roll. 23 minus the worm's armor. 10 is 13. Only at 6 health. Goodbye, worm. We killed the worm. That was pretty good. I was super nervous there for a second that we weren't going to be able to do it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that treasure. I'm actually just going to leave it be, and we're going to see if we can race for the door. Now, it would have been my apprentice phase, but now we skipped that. Already did it, so now it's the soldier's phase. We already activated here. This guy didn't activate. He's carrying treasure. Oh my gosh, there's another knoll over there. Nope, I have to protect my wizard, because that knoll is going to come from my wizard if I don't. I have to protect my wizard. All right, so I'm going to move over there and protect my wizard. Whew, let's deal with this over here. I'm going to fight with my treasure hunter because I don't want anything to happen to my archer. We only have 3 left. So here's the roll. Oops. Here's the roll from the treasure hunter. 10 plus 1 is 11. Plus help from the friend plus 2 is 13. Here's the roll from the knoll. 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, 22. Thief's armor is 10, 13. That thief already had damage on them. That thief is gone. All right, let's fight with the archer here. 12 plus 2 is 14. Here's the roll for the knoll. 16, 17, 18. I'm kind of getting table wiped here. 18, the archer's armor is 11, takes 7. Kills my archer. All right, well, so much for that. Who's left on the table? Not much. If we can at least get my wizard to the door, it'll be a good thing. All right, so we have to activate the creatures now. He doesn't see him. But he does see this guy over here, and he's within 10 inches. And then his double move will take him into base contact. All right. This guy will move into base contact because he's close enough, and then they're going to fight. So here's the roll for the knoll. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus help from his friend is 8. Here's the thug. 7 plus 2 is 9. So he wins the combat. Doesn't do any damage, but he'll push him back an inch. He's closer, so he does his 1 6-inch move into base contact, and they'll fight again. Here's the knoll's roll. 11 plus 3 is 14, plus 2 is 16. Here's the thug's, my poor guy's roll. 12 plus 2 is 14. I lose the combat. I take 6 damage because it was a 16 minus my armor is a 10. I have 4 health left. This knoll here, he's going to climb up here, and 6 inches takes him to this guy. Let's turn him around. My crossbowman, and they're going to fight. Here's the knoll's roll. Now he's a Templar. He has plus 4 because he's a knight, different stats. So it's a 9 total. 9. Here's the knight. Here's the roll for the crossbowman. 3 plus 2 is 5. Wins the combat, but my armor is, I believe, 11. So it doesn't do any damage, but we stay in combat. I think I got everybody, but you know what? End of the turn, we have to roll for another knoll. 8. Let's see what's 8 on the knoll table. Knoll, treasure hunter, and hyena. Let's just do a knoll treasure hunter just for time here. Knoll treasure hunter. Again, let's roll our d10 to see where the knoll treasure hunter comes out. That's a 9. That's again over here. Boom. Good, he's not really going to bother me over there, thankfully. All right, that's the end of the turn. Okay, here we go, top of the next turn. Start with our wizard phase. Here's my wizard over here. He's going to group with that guy. And you know what? I'm trying to think about what can do the most damage to everybody. But honestly, I just want to make a run for the door. So first thing we're going to do is move 6 inches over here. And that gets me just about to that green bead. And I'm going to cast
elemental bolt on this person right here. See if I can help out my poor thug. It's a 12 to cast. I roll a 13, I'm successful. Now let's roll our +8 shooting attack. Terrible roll. So 9 total. Here's the thug, here's the Knowles roll, 8, 11, survives the shooting attack. I'm gonna bring my other thug 6 inches up and another 3 inches to the door. So 9 inches total gets me to the door. And big creatures. No more big creatures on the board. We killed the big creature. Also killed my apprentice. So we're going to skip the apprentice phase straight to the soldier phase. So I'm going to fight the guy who's got less health here. Here's my roll for Miss. Here, let's turn him around so he looks like he's fighting. All right, here's my roll for that thug fighting this. Looks like just another thug there. Here we go. Terrible roll. 1 plus his fight is 2 is 3. Here's the Knowles roll. Great. 15 total plus, why couldn't I get that one? 15 total plus 3 for his, no, plus 2 for his fight, plus 2 from his friend. 16 total. Armor. My armor is armor 10. I take 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 1 health left. Oh boy. Oh boy. I guess we got to fight up here. Crossbowman doing hand-to-hand, something he doesn't like to do. Here he goes. Wow, good roll. 19 plus his fight is 2, so 21 total. Here's the Templar. 15 plus 4 is 19. Doesn't cut it. 21 minus the Templar is armor is 13. 21, 11, 10, 9, 8. Takes 8 damage. His health is 12. He's got 4 left. And you know what? Let's move anyways. Let's just move down here. 6 inches down. All right, we moved that crossbowman down there, got out of the way. Now we got to go to the creature phase, and we got a lot of creatures out here. So let's deal with combat first. Since there's a lot of guys here, I'm gonna randomize who goes first because it might make a difference. Let's roll this d6 right here. This will be 2, 4, and 6. All right, so this is 3. So that's this guy here in the middle. He's gonna go first, and he's gonna attack the thug with little help from his friend. Here's the Knowles roll. He's got a 12, plus his 2 is 4, plus 2 from his friend is 16 total. Here's my roll. 3 plus 2 is 5, not gonna cut it. 16 minus my armor is 10, 6. He kills him, folks. He kills here. Maybe I made this scenario a little too hard. Maybe I shouldn't have used Knowles. Maybe I shouldn't use Man of Arms, but who cares? Let's keep going. So he activated, then he looks around and he says, who the heck do I see? I see a wizard over there. That wizard's mine. So he does his second action and he moves 6 over here to that. All right. Moving on. Here is a knoll. We're going to move him 6. It looks like the wizard is the closest. We're going to move him 6. And then another 3 takes him into base combat, but he can't do anything right now. And then this guy, 6 will get him through here. And then he's going to fight the wizard. And he should just be a... Here we go. Wow, not good. 16 plus 2 plus 2. So he's at a 20 total. Here's the wizard. 12 plus 2 is 14. Wasn't going to do it. 20 minus 10. No, minus my armor of 10 is 10. 3 health left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We might not make it through the door today, folks. We might not make it through the door, but that's okay. Let's keep going. This Templar, Knoll, he'll move 2, a move of 5, and then his second move to get back into base contact. All right, now we're going to have another Knoll come out someplace here. So let's roll on our Knoll table. Lower roll. All right, we're just having another Knoll thug come out. All right, we don't have time. We don't have time. Here comes another Knoll thug. Let's roll our d10, and that's 2, 1, 2, not bad, coming out here. All right. All right, top of the turn. Here's my wizard. He's in combat. We're going to fight the blue Knoll. Here's my roll. Critted it. Just when you need a crit. 20. Plus my fight, 22. Knolls roll, 11 plus 2 for the help. So 17, not gonna do the 22. 22 minus the Knoll's armor is 10, is 12. Double damage, 24. Bye-bye, Knoll. Well, that makes things a little easier. No big creatures, we're gonna skip that phase. No apprentice, we're gonna skip that phase. Soldier phase, I got a soldier here. Let's see if we can toast this Templar. Here we go. Lone crossbowman, rolling for the fight. 7, plus his fight is 9. Here's the Templar. 12, plus his fight is 16. 16 wins, my armor is 11. So I take 5 damage, and that crossbowman is gone. Ooh, pretty much almost party wiped here, people. All right, moving on. Let's activate this soldier. He's done with the door. He sees his wizard's in trouble. He's coming up to help. He's 6 inches up to that knoll right there, and he fights. Here he goes. Here's his roll. 4. Plus 2 is 6. Plus 2 is, for the help, is 8. And let's roll for that knoll. Wow. 18 plus 2 is 20, minus his armor, 10, and he's dead. So pretty much it's up to and he drops his treasure right there. Here we go, moving on, let's activate some creatures. We're gonna randomize to see if he gets help or not. So odd, even, let's see who activates first. We rolled an odd, that will be this guy. He'll move into base contact and fight the wizard. He rolled a 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 2 for the help is 13. Here's the wizard's roll. Well, it's cocked on that mountain. Let's do this here again. 16 plus 2 is 18, wins. 18 minus the armor is 8, so he takes 8 damage, health of 10, so he's got 2 left. Let's push him back an inch so we're not dealing with him when this guy attacks. Now here comes this guy here with Big Sword Dude. Rolls a 4, plus 2 is 6. Here comes the wizard roll. Last guy on the field, swinging that staff. He rolls a 2, plus 2 is 4. Doesn't do it, but doesn't exceed the armor, so we're good. No damage done. All the other knolls on the table are outside of my 10-inch radius here for this thing. So you know what? Just for time's sake, we're going to kind of speed things along here and see if we can make things move a little faster. Skipping some of these steps, I just want to wrap this demo up. All right, we're going to skip ahead to the top of the next turn, activate the wizard. I'm in combat with one guy here, so let's see if we can deal with him. Rolled a 14, plus 2 is 16. Here comes the Knolls fight. 9 plus 2 is 11. I win with the 16. Armor 10. 16 minus 10 is 6. Takes 6 damage. Has 4 health left. I am going to push him back an inch and move here. Oh, treasure's still here. Didn't get any treasure there. This odd, even to see who activates first. Even. So big sword guys, 6 inches, moves forward. Do our fight. He rolls an 11, plus 2 is 13. Wizard rolls. He rolls a 9, is an 11. I lose the combat. 13 minus my armor is 10 is 3. That actually knocks me out. My health is 14. I had 11. Took 3 damage. I'm to 13. That was it. I did not finish the scenario. Oh no. My wizard is knocked out. All right. So first off, I was going pretty fast because I wanted to get through this demo game and not kind of get hung up. So I know I missed some rules, and I know I missed a couple things in the turn. I know I didn't make the wall go away. So I know there were a lot of things that I missed. But I was just really trying to get through it to demo the game and see how it went. In hindsight, I think I made this solo scenario a little too challenging. The Knolls, maybe not the best substitute to use. They were a little too powerful, and they pretty much wiped my warband off the table. So probably my fault. It was a little unbalanced. I did take care of that giant worm pretty easily, but I probably could rebalance these substitutions because it's a little uncharacteristic to get party wiped like that. I mean, you might get wiped, a lot of your warband wiped out, but you should be able to get some people there. So probably my bad in poor substitution and tweaking of the scenario.
when you're playing a game of Frostgrave, especially in a campaign, when a soldier or a character or one of your figures is killed, it's actually not killed. After the game is over, we roll to see what happens to those characters. There's a whole table that we roll from. Now, the wizards and the apprentice have their own special table for what happens after the game. And they could either be killed outright, or they could survive, or they could have some permanent injuries that might affect how they perform in later games. For example, they might have psychological scars, or a lost eye, or lost fingers. And you would write these on the character sheets, and it would affect them in later games. So let's roll for our wizard right now. And I rolled a 20, and guess what that means? Full recovery. So the wizard lives. Let's roll for the apprentice. Same table. 15. Guess what? The apprentice lives. All right, now soldiers have their own table for the recovery. So we're going to go down the line. Here comes our archer. She rolled a 4. Guess what? She's dead. Here comes 12. Survived. Here comes our thug. 14. So at the end of a game, it's not like you have to rebuy your whole warband in a campaign. The next thing we would do at the end of the game is roll on a treasure table to see what we got if we actually succeeded in getting treasure off the board. 1d20, and it would tell you exactly what you get. And you can get anything from gold to help buy soldiers or magical items. You can get potions, magical weapons. You can get grimoires to learn new spells. And the more treasure you get, the more stuff you can receive. You get XP for the spells that you cast. You get XP for the treasures you get off the table, and you get XP for the creatures that you kill. So every 100 XP you get is a level, and as your wizard levels up, you can empower spells, increase your stats. You can learn new spells. So if you did happen to get treasure off the board, what you would do is after the game, you would roll on the treasure table to see what you got. And you can get anything from gold to help buy soldiers or magical items. You can get potions, magical weapons. You can get grimoires to learn new spells. And the more treasure you get, the more stuff you can receive. Also, you get XP for the spells that you cast. You get XP for the treasures you get off the table, and you get XP for the creatures that you kill. So every 100 XP you get is a level, and as your wizard levels up, you can empower spells, increase your stats. You can learn new spells. So XP kind of helps you to have a more powerful wizard, and that's how. And really, then in the campaign system is when this game really shines and is a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me slog through this solo scenario today. Again, I think my tweaks were not as good and caused me to get party wiped here, but at the end it was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed Frostgrave. Hit us up with any questions, comments, and I hope you play soon. Thanks so much. XP kind of helps you to have a more powerful wizard. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me slog through this solo scenario today. Again, I think my tweaks were not as good and caused me to get party wiped here, but at the end it was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed Frostgrave. Hit us up with any questions, comments, and I hope you play soon. Thanks so much.